All right. So we have started streaming. Hi everyone, if you're watching a recording, we're gonna fast forward 5 minutes before we get started here. Getting everything prepped and ready to go. Okie dokie. Yeah, I think I only get that line on the screen when I go live. It's really weird. I haven't figured that one out yet. Still haven't figured that one out yet. It's been 2 months, I know. So we can see that. We're good. I think I have everything. We'll see. I guess we'll find out when we process through this. Okay, let's see if I can get my chat going. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. Let's see. All right, getting everything connected. Hi everyone out there in the live world. Let's see if we can get this rolling today. So we got a surprise project on Wednesday, which means that's next week. And then what is the next enamel project? I don't even know. Do you know, baby doll? Let's take a look. See if I can figure it out. Yeah. Oh, I know. There's a schedule. I look at the schedule. Let's see. 4 square February. Lots of dots. That's the last of. Guys, the last week of February. Yeeks. What is that about? Pin to top of page. Okay, let's see. Still trying to figure it out here. What's going on next week? As we will, if you're again watching a recording, fast forward a few minutes here. Baubles. Baubles. We're doing baubles. Ah. You know, didn't think about that for a hot minute. See. GMTA. Good morning to all. Is that what that means? I don't know what GMTA. Somebody just posted GMT. GMTA. I don't know what GMTA means. Okay. I'm going to go with good morning to all. I could be wrong. I could be disastrous. Great minds think alike. I was going to say, it's not morning anymore. Well, hell, if you're in California, I suppose it's still morning. Oh, too funny. Anyway. Okay, so Andy says we are up and running. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. I know we did. Slept in yesterday. Can you believe that? Slept in till 10:30 yesterday. And then we took ourselves out and went to a local burger joint and got some really great burgers, which doesn't happen too often either. Regardless of the pandemic, you know, we don't do that too often. But I was craving a really big, meaty, juicy burger, and we saw this place that we've never been to since we've moved here. So it's like, hey, let's go check it out. Andy's idea, and it was yummy and really, 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 really bad for you. Hey, I know. Exercise will start soon. Spring is almost here. Yep, I did say that. Spring is almost here. One more month before spring. That's a pretty exciting thing. I know. I was talking to somebody out there in Pennsylvania today, and all she could say to me was, oh my gosh, I'm so over the snow queue. We're getting another 4 inches today. I'm sorry. I'm really still enjoying the snow. Shame on me. Oh, I know. Shouldn't say that. But anyway. All right, so we're going to start here in just another minute. What are we doing? We're doing lots of dots today. Yep, making all these pretty little dots on enamel. Okay. So, exciting stuff getting ready. I'm already thinking about April projects. I know what we're going to do after. It's going to be after Virtually Ever Crafting. The project's going to be a mix it. We're going to change this out from Motley Metal Mondays to Mix It Up Mondays. We're going to do we're going to do a bracelet where the focal would be swapped out every week. So we'll do a different focal every week. So you can look forward to that. Don't know when I'll be working on that project, but I will probably get back on Twitch. I know it's been a while since I've been on Twitch on the weekends, but I'll get back on Twitch sooner or later here and start working on new projects. It's a thing. Anyway. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Let's get going. Andy's ready. He's in my ear. He's being my producer today, as always, on Mondays and Wednesdays. And we are ready to get started. Today is Motley Metal Mondays, and I'm QFOM Gray. It's Q Talk Live. I'm simulcasting on 4 channels. You have Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Facebook. If you're in my regular Facebook page, the QFOM Gray site, do come over to the Q Talk page and see everything that's happening. You can find out about kits and the schedule that's coming up. I just pushed the March schedule up to the top so you can see what's coming up in March. There's still time to get your kits for March if you haven't done so, and there's still time to get the Motley Metal kit if you want to catch up. We're a few weeks behind if you do, but you know, all these videos are out there for a long time, except for the Zoom videos, but we're talking about all the live videos. They are on YouTube and the Facebook page for quite a while. But if you can't find one, do reach out to me and I can always help you find it. I took some time over the weekend to go back through all of the Facebook live videos, and I made sure that I renamed everything so you can actually do a search on the name of the project. If you can remember the name of the project, heck, we're only heading towards 100. How do you remember all the names? I don't, but many of you guys know that. Anyway, so what's coming up in March? I'm excited to show you. I can't remember if I showed this to you before, but I probably did a few weeks ago, but I'm going to show it to you again. So our 1 year anniversary of being live is coming up in March. So we're going to do an anniversary pendant. It's going to be a free Zoom. Anyone can join in, but there is a kit available, and this is the kit. So you can choose your colors except for the large one. You can choose the other 2 colors. Everybody will get a clear one for the top one. And anyway, and some really, really heavy metal, like so. And you know what? For this project, it would be really helpful if you had a disc cutter. And that's like the most exciting news for today, is that I have found a huge deal on the EcoHay disc cutter, which is, we carried it for a while and then they got back ordered, and then apparently the manufacturer died. And so we couldn't get these disc cutters in anymore, and I just found out today that we can get these disc cutters in, and he cut me a huge deal on it. So it's this one, it's 11 pieces, it goes from 1 inch all the way down to 1/8 of an inch, and we have it now on the website for $155 delivered. And that's huge. What's so great about the EcoHay disc cutter is it is only a hair behind the Lindstrom, and the Lindstrom will run you $279. So get it while you can. Don't know how many of these will be available for how long, but we do have a number of them coming in the next week. So if you want those, Andy just he said he posted the link in the chat, and then I'll go back and re-edit this and put it in the description later because I can't do it now. But anyway, so that's the big news. Okay, so today is Motley Metal Mondays. We've been doing every Monday for the last few weeks, and for the next few more weeks, we've been doing enamel projects, right? So every week is a little bit different and how to approach different designs and, you know, sort of having fun with your enamels. And so today we're going to make these cute little dots on all of our enamels using seed beads. I know, it's a thing. It actually works. Why? Because seed beads, if you buy the right ones, okay, are made of glass, okay? You cannot use the plastic ones. It's plastic, right? And so if you use the glass ones, and the other key here to the seed beads is they cannot have any kind of lining or coating on it, because the lining is probably something adverse and the coating is like plastic. So you don't want to do that. And besides, they'll get destroyed with the heat anyway. Okay, so what do you need for today's project? Some copper shapes is good. A hole punch to punch our holes with. You can use any hole punch you want. Today I'm going to use the hand punch for the project. A metal ruler to handle this the seed beads. A pair of tweezers would be really, really helpful. The metal that we're using is 24 gauge. A metal file to file the edges. A divider, because we're making these straight lines, so it would be nice if you had something to score straight lines with. You can do it with a ruler, but it's so much easier with a divider. Besides, these things only run like $8-10, so it's really cool. A pair of shears to cut the metal with, and then we need some enamel stuff. So we need a sifter, a toothbrush, a trivet to fire onto a tripod, a torch, of course, because we are torch firing enamel. As always, you will need enamels, and we do have enamel color kits on our website. So if you're just getting started with enamels, you can pick up a color kit for 12 different colors for $28. It makes it a lot easier if you're just starting out, instead of buying 1 ounces that will take you forever to go through, and you don't even know if you like it, but you'll like it because it's a lot of fun. Some dowel rods. I have here a 3/8 inch and a 3/4 inch dowel rod. You can also use a horned anvil if you'd like, or a ring mandrel. Either one would work too. Some old magazine pages. I'm using some flyers because I have them and need to use them up to work as a work surface, because you don't want to cross-contaminate your enamels. To clean with, we're going to use Penny Bright today. I have some in a dish here, but Penny Bright, this stuff, okay, made right here in Cleveland. Yep, if you're just tuning in and you don't know where I'm from, I just told you we're from the greater Akron, Cleveland area of Ohio. You'll need some either holding agent or clear fire. Some people like to use hairspray. Some people like to use this stuff in a sprayer, which for me is a big no. I don't like to use a sprayer in my studio because I feel like it just gets all over the place, and I don't want basically glue to get all over the place. So there it is. That's why I use it with a brush, but you are more than welcome to put it into a spray bottle and use a sprayer. So I just use it with a brush. So let's get going here. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of metal, whatever width you want, to make something like this. Okay, so this one, can't remember, let's see, it is approximately 5/8 of an inch wide. So I'm going to use my divider, and let's take this a little bit too busy there. We'll zoom in just a little bit for you. There we go. So I'm going to take my divider. This is what's really great about dividers is, you can do this kind of thing with it. You don't have to really measure. Remember, I'm the one who finds measuring annoying. So I'm just going to score right down like so. And then, how long is this? I think it's 1.5 inches. Yeah, right about there. So we'll go there. And, oops, score that on this edge. And then on this edge, and we'll cut that off with our shears. And then, of course, now that we have this nice straight line, if you don't have a bezel shear, this is nice. I'm sorry, not a bezel shear, a bench shear. By the way, I am in the market for an 8-inch guillotine shear if anybody has one they want to get rid of. But anyway, so you've cut your piece. I'm also going to lop off the corners just a little bit and create a radius because I don't like the sharp edges. So I'm just going to cut off the corners, and then I'm going to file it. This is the fastest and quickest way to get your corners down. and to get them nice and even. Okay. And I'm sure you're noticing that I haven't flattened this piece out because I'm being a little lazy about it, because I'm about to make it into a curve anyway. So we're just gonna file this way. Yes, I'm a double filer. If you don't know that already, I file both directions because it doesn't really matter. And it works a little faster. Okay. Before I bend it into a curve, I'm going to go ahead and punch 2 holes in there. And this is just a design preference, of course, 1 hole or 2 hole, depending on how you want to hang this onto the onto your necklace. By the way, if you have any questions, do go ahead and post them. Andy is going to tell me your questions in my ear, and that's why he's here to help. Okay, so we're just going to punch 2 holes on the top. And you know, while I've got my cutter out, I am going to go ahead and punch this one too. So this is a 3/4 of an inch square. By the way, these shapes can be found on our website at theurbanbeater.com, along with all the tools that is listed there that you see here. All right, so to make this curve, I'm just going to put it around a dowel rod, and I'm just going to hammer it down with my leather mallet. Okay. Let's see. Oh, don't like that either. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh, I forgot. I need a wood wedge. Yes. Okay, so the question is, any tips on using a pair of shears that don't have the finger holes, that have the springs, that someone out there has a hard time holding them? Frankly, I don't really have much, except I don't have a pair here to show you, but I have a tendency to hold things like that with my finger in the middle, like so. So, I don't know. Maybe that will help you. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to put this on here and, oops, make a curve. If you don't have a block, like so, you can put it onto your anvil. Nope. And also do the same. So I'm going to get that curve down here. I'm just flattening my ends because I didn't flatten them earlier because I was being lazy. Okay, move that back. That only weighs a ton. And I want to reshape this just a little bit better. And I like to put this on top also, just to make sure that I get those edges down. Okay. There you go. Okay. Done. And then this one, so if you have a shape, no big deal too, same process. Or I'm going to put it on a 3/4 one because I wanted a bigger shape. And see, it's a little bit easier with a dap block, but you can definitely do it without. Okay. Like so. There we go. And it's up to you how curved you want it. It's, again, it's a design preference, right? All right, so now you got to make sure that you clean your metal. Okay, so I did something wrong here. Hold on. Yes, these are all really cute toys. I don't know why this is not sitting evenly. Did I not cut that evenly? Oh, yeah, okay, I see it now. I didn't cut it evenly. Oops, but we'll go with it. Remember, if you have any sharp edges, always, always, always take them down a little bit, okay, before you enamel. So all this little bit of finishing, you might want to do it before the enamel because you don't want to crack that enamel, right? So it's taking a little bit more off here today. Okay, so when you're enameling, you need to make sure that your pieces are clean. My piece here on the left is already clean. This one is not, so I'm going to go ahead and clean it with a little bit of Penny Bright. And literally, I'm just going to use my fingers, okay? If you want and you don't like it on your fingers, use it on a toothbrush. It works. I personally find using my fingers a little bit easier. Some people actually find this whole process of using Penny Bright annoying. I don't know why. It's so simple. Okay, so I'm going to rinse it here in my rinse water. Okay, brilliant. Because you need to make sure that your metal surface is clean. This is very important, or else the enamel will not adhere, because basically it's a barrier to the metal, between the enamel and the metal. So you want to make sure that you remove any oils and any fire scale that's on your metal, okay? Okie dokie, let me clean this up just a second here. All right, so now that I have my pieces all nice and clean, we're going to go ahead and counter enamel this. Counter enamel is a process of enameling the back side. What that does is it basically stabilizes your metal and keeps the enamel from popping off. So with my paintbrush, we'll paint on a little bit of the holding agent / clear fire. Whatever you have works. If you have holding agent, remember you need to cut it with water 50-50. If you have clear fire, you don't need to cut it at all. And this is especially important to put on, especially on a curved surface, because the enamel won't stick to the sides if you don't have something to stick to. It'll just slide right off, right? So you can use anything for counter enamel. If you don't have counter enamel, personally, I would not buy this. I would just use black or brown, an inexpensive color. You could use white, but then it looks really muddy when you go to fire it, right? And notice how I'm tilting my hands to get up those curves. So nice and even, sifting, basically in a spiral, working my way to the middle, okay? Set that aside, and then do it again. See, look, it's sliding right off because I didn't put enough on. No problem, just take it off. I'm just gonna take everything off and try that again. I closed the lid here. So what's funny, Andy's talking to me in my ear about what's for dinner tonight. I know, the side conversations we're having, and I'm supposed to cryptically go, right, that's what I want for dinner too. Okay, so notice how I'm holding this, and I'm just sort of tilting my hands to make sure that I get on those sides of this, right? And what you want is you want a nice layer where you don't see any copper coming through. Because I put something wet on here, I need to allow this to dry for a moment. So if you're working in your own studio, what you want to do is you want to put it on a warm surface, like a mug warmer, or on top of your kiln, if you're kiln firing, and it'll help it dry. Because if you don't allow the liquid to dry, it'll create bubbles. All right, so there's the reason for the magazine pages. I just put away my enamel so that I don't have cross-contamination. So I put it back into the container. Okay. So let's put it on the tripod here. Put these pieces away. I know I'm off center off the screen so that I don't shoot right up into my camera, meaning the torch. Okay. I'm just going to put this right on here. and we're just going to torch that. So you want to torch this until it looks like the surface of an orange peel, okay? So first it's going to look like dry sand, and then it's going to look like sugar, and then it'll look like the surface of an orange peel. They call that the orange peel state. You do not need to get this to gloss, although if you do overfire it and it goes to gloss, it's not a big deal. There we are. All right, so when you pull this off, you might want to put it onto a solder block. Oh, see how it's stuck there? No big deal. Oops. As it cools, it'll probably pop off, or you just knock it on a hard surface. I'm putting it on my bench block because it'll help it cool that much faster. You can put it on your solder board too. Okay, so here. Long pieces and curved pieces are a little bit peculiar, but here we go. So we'll keep that up. Same thing on that second piece. We're just going to take it right to the orange peel stage. Thing. And you can already see this piece because you see the copper coming up, that it's pretty cool. Set this aside. Now remember, never ever ever quench your enamel because it is glass, so it will pop off, okay, or crack the glass. All right, same thing here because we've created a lot of fire scale. We'll go ahead and penny bright that again, and you'll see the magic come up very quickly. Does a nice job cleaning. Now I know that there was a bit of contamination on the, or what do you call it, contamination, overspill on the backside, but I went ahead and left it because I wanted to show you this. You know, a lot of times I have students who come to me, it's like, I can't get everything off. I'll zoom in on it here in a second and show you what I mean. And they don't realize that it is actually just enamel, okay? So put this piece in here. So, and this should be, yeah. I'm using all, I'm scraping all these bits of penny bright off my fingers because I took too much earlier, and it just makes for less cleanup if I just use what I have. And I'm being frugal, both. And if it's not coming off, you see, only some of it is coming off there and not there. That's because I'm not being aggressive enough. So just get a little bit more aggressive. Add a little more penny bright as you need it, but it will come off. And you do want to remove all that fire scale, okay? Don't be so aggressive that you crack your enamel, but even if you crack your enamel, it's fine because once you fire it again, it'll all refuse. Okay. So remember, if you're not familiar with enamel, what we're doing is we are fusing glass to metal because enamel is simply crushed glass, right? No, you can't go making your own. Well, you could, but it does take a glass. They call them glass engineers. I mean, these people, they go to school for this stuff. It is a process. You do need to know what you're doing. Okay. Okie dokie. All right, so I have two pieces. I wanted to zoom in and show this to you. Pretty clean. Okay, so you can sort of see the little black dots there. That is actually enamel that that got stuck on there when I went to fire it. And it's okay. It's only not okay if you're doing transparent, but I'm going to be enameling an opaque over it, so no one's ever going to see it, so I just leave it. But if you want to remove that and you're doing a transparent, what you're going to need is you're going to need an Lindstrom stone. These are really fine grit stones, and you would sit here with some water, usually under some water, and you're going to basically grind it off or sand it off. Okay, that's what Lindstrom stones are for. Okay, so on to the next step. So we're going to do the front now, and same thing is we're going to put some holding agent on there, and I'm going to do each color separately because I don't want to, again, cross-contaminate it on my sheet here, just in case that I have any spillage. So I'm going to do one at a time, and we'll start with this one. This is ivory. And you can notice how I'm holding that, starting from the edge and working my way around. And you want to sift so that you don't see any copper coming through or any metal coming through, depending on what you're using. Can you use brass? Not really. Brass is a whole other animal that we don't even engage in. But you can, but it's a bit difficult, okay? Because again, it's a whole nuance thing. I'm gonna put this on my trivet here. All right. Put that away for a hot second because we're gonna fire this and come right back. There we go. All right, again, you should let it dry, but we're gonna just keep moving today. So if this starts popping, let's say you didn't wait and allow it to dry. If your enamels start popping, just back off and just warm it up, okay? So it allows it a little bit more time to dry instead of being aggressive and getting the metal right in here. Another thing that people do often is they always do this. They're always moving the flame around really quickly. You don't need to do that. It's a huge flame. Just move it around the metal, back and forth, a little bit at a time. That's me waving my hand, making sure that I'm not twitching my camera. Always checking. There we go. We're going to take this just to the orange peel state, like so. Let's put that aside again. Give it a knock to pop it off. And you'll see here that I didn't do a great job, which is okay, because I knew I was going to go to a second layer. You didn't have to on this, but I like doing it in 2 layers. You can tell that I didn't do a great job sifting because you can see some of the copper through that area there, and it's a little bit less on the sides, okay? Okay, I told you not to quench, but I did quench it just to keep it moving. After all, it is a sample, but if you want these things to have any longevity, you wouldn't do what I just did. Okay, so more holding agent on here. Oh, Jesus. What did I just do? I wasn't thinking, and I put my sifter into, oh, jeez, the holding agent. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, my God. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking of the next step, and my head wasn't right here. This is what happens. Whoops. Hi, Lori from Montana. How are you? Wow. That is sort of crazy news. So I don't know if is she watching Andy from Facebook? Okay, so if you guys are on Facebook, you'll see the post that she just made, Andy's telling me about it, is at Powderhorn Mercantile in Kalispell, Montana, where I have taught twice, is closing down, which is really, really, really sad news because, you know, they've been in business for a long, long time, like over 20 years. They are an establishment there in Kalispell. If you've ever been up there, they're way up north in Montana. Like, I think it's only like 50 miles from the border, but my head, oh my gosh, is just going to all the crazy news that I have gotten today. And I literally had a conversation with my girlfriend today. So I feel like another shoe is going to drop. And there it is. Oh my gosh. Wait, sorry. Okay. Because today I found out that Hauser Miller, the refinery, right? If you any of you are familiar with, some of you might get your metals from there. Hauser and Miller closed down in December. I did not know that. They've been in business since 1905, 1909. Wow, right? And who else? I found out that a distributor of mine, the owner, died. It's like, okay, found that out this morning. And who else? There was somebody else. Oh, and another person, very, very sad, Diane Whiting. Some of you, if you're beaters, you'll know who she is. She's quite an established person. She died last week too. So, oh my gosh, all these things. So sad. Anyway, oh, okay. So I have sifted a second layer, and now I'm going to start placing the seed beads, okay? So back in, sorry, zooming in, zooming out all day long. Okay. So this one is a little bit harder to go past this middle line because it's going to fall over. And I'm just going to use some purple today. Crazy news from the jewelry industry. You know, I wonder where it's going to go when this is all over. But fingers crossed, the industry will survive. Well, it will survive. It's just a matter of time when it'll come back. That's all. And, you know, it's a matter of who has the deep pockets to stay in. We're hoping to stay in. By the way, with your support, we've been staying in, which is a good thing. You know, it hasn't been easy, but I know that others have had it harder than us. But I've had a lot of comments about how much work you see me doing. Well, you know what? We're grinding here. We're grinding to make this happen. That's all this is, you know, you got to put in the work to get it back. That's how I see it. You can't just sit back and hope that everything happens for you. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this as straight as possible. It's so funny. I'm sitting here looking at it down here, right down at it, and it looks pretty straight, but I look up at the monitor, it's like, oh, that's not very straight now, is it? Oh, I don't even know why I'm being so particular about it anyway. Okay, we're just going to fire this puppy. I need to move it slightly over there. We'll move this up, and I don't want to get too far from it because I want you to see what's going to happen there. Okie dokie. So heat it just like so. And so what's going to happen again is the enamel is going to start fusing, but then you got to keep going and get the seed beads to fuse too. They will start melting. Now remember, just like enamel, every seed bead color is going to respond to heat a little bit differently. Some will heat up faster than others. So if you go and mix and match these colors in your design, some may just melt really fast while others will take longer. So what I see here, which I know is really hard for you to see, we're starting to get to the gloss state, right? And the seed beads along the top edges, you can see is starting to slump. It's cool. It's really, really cool to watch this happen. And then you're going to see it starting to come down a little bit. I tried to pick out pieces that were similar in size so that they would fuse basically at the same rate. Okay. If you're not familiar with enamel, you'll see that the colors will change when it's dry to when it's hot to when it's cool. So this should come up to a nice bright yellow. I sort of went over on the side, so I have a dark space here. That is, I sort of killed it. I sort of torched it too much. But I'm going to do it one more time, just in a second here. Let's try not to. Okay. Go. I'm going to try not to burn myself today. All right, let's do the other piece. Okay, same thing, because it's a curved piece, you must put some sort of adhesive on it. And today I'm using clear fire. Okay, sifter that's not drenched that's not drenched in holding agent or clear fire there. And we're going to sift again. And I'm going in a circle. And you'll also find that some enamels, they just play better than others. Like this one sifted so easily, which is great. All right, we'll put this back on. Very carefully. It's a hot trivet, so we're going to try not to burn ourselves. Ta-da! All right. Put our enamel away. Let's sift that, or let's fire that. All right, so we're going to fire that. We're going to get that just to the orange peel stage because we're going to put another layer on there. Okay, and you can see that in the camera. So I see here, Pam says, use the fork. I can't, it's a curved piece. And what does she mean by the fork? If you missed this tip before, I'll show you. Where's my fork? I know I have it here. While this is cooling, hold on. Let's take this off and let it cool. On the side here. Oh, there's my fork. So if you missed this tip from a couple weeks ago, you can take an old steel fork, take out a tine, and look, you can lift it and you can put it down. It makes life a lot easier, but with a curved piece, that's a completely different animal. Okay, so we have that here. I'm going to do the thing I tell you not to do so we can keep this moving along. Okay. And again, we'll sift that one more time. And, oops. There we go. Gee, just when I thought I had a nice even layer on there, I do not. Okay, my brush broke on there too. I do like doing 2 layers. It does make it really nice. So sift it. Good layer on there. Okay. Set that aside. Curved pieces are always a little peculiar to work with. Go. All right. And tweezers. And let's see. So just place it on where you want it. Let's go ahead and zoom in. tedious work, but you'll get rewarded for it. Ouch. I don't know, I love these designs. I think it's just cute. It's right up my alley, right? And I'm working up here on my trivet because I already know, see that? I will, to get it from my bench to my trivet is really, really, really fickle business, right? I will likely drop all the pieces off, so I prefer just to work up here. So, oops, I know you can't tell, but basically I'm working at eye level, basically. And I should really be working over it to make sure that it's nice and straight. So you should stand up and look over your work. Now, another key to this is that I am putting the seed beads on sifted enamel as opposed to on fired enamel, because there's no chance that these are going to stay on. They're going to slip right off if you don't have some dry sifted enamel on there. The enamel does help it stay in place. If only I could get it there. Okay, third time's a charm. Dude, you need to stay. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to stand over this piece and start adjusting it just a little. And you can put on as many pieces as your patience will let you put on. Okay, let's fire that. Oops. Let's zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. And let's move this over just a little bit so I don't torch my camera. And of course, so the question is, can you quench your trivet in between firings? Yes, you can. Okay, there you go. So go right under it. So what's really great is if you don't have a 9-inch tripod, you might want to get a 9-inch tripod. And because a 6-inch is a little bit low to get your torch under it, right? It's sort of hard. And what I find is when I use a 6-inch, I have a tendency to knock it over, which is not really safe. So again, if you don't have a 9-inch tripod, you might want to consider getting a 9-inch. And they're fairly inexpensive. They're only like $15. So. So heat it, and everything changes because remember it's glass. Anytime glass has heat, the colors will change. And notice how we went from yellow to orange there, right? We're just going to keep heating this until it's nice and fused, like so. If you overheat it, or can you overheat it? Yes, you can overheat it when it comes to the seed beads, and the seed beads will become blobs, and it'll lose their dimension. Okay. So we do have the 9-inch tripods on our website if you don't have a 9-inch tripod. Along with everything else that you've seen today, we have everything actually, except the metal bowls. You can get those from IKEA. Actually, you can't get them from IKEA anymore. They discontinued them. So there we have it. Voila. Okay. Little hot. So I'll show you real close here what happened, just so you know. All right, so it's really nice and pretty on this side. And then you get to this side and you're like, oh, what happened? This is called overfiring. And basically this black stuff, I've basically burned the enamel, right? But it's really the soot off of the torch, okay? And so you got to be careful and make sure you stay under the enamel. That's why heating on top of enamel is sort of fickle business, and we try not to do that when we can avoid it, right? So also I have a sharp edge right here from the trivet. I don't think you can see that much, But how do you get rid of that? So that's where that aluminum stone comes in again. Okay, so you want to make sure that you wet this, and then you would just file it down. And notice how I'm doing that. I'm not scraping it like this because it creates gouges in your aluminum stone. So you do want to work it in this manner. Okay, you never want to scrape those edges. You want to just sort of wipe it, I guess, swipe it. So the question is, have I ever experienced cracking due to the incompatibility of the bead glass to the enamel? Thus far, no. But I'll be honest, I've only used, these are Chinese seed beads, okay? And I've used Delicas, okay? And those have worked just fine. I've never used Matsuno, I think they're Matsuno, seed beads, because I just never had any to try. So outside of that, no. What I can say is that if the seed beads have a silver foil lining or have any kind of coating in it, it's just going to turn black, and you'll get little black blobs in there because they've burned, right? Let's see what we got here. You're cool. Okay, so there we are. So there's that piece. I must have gotten some contamination in there because I have a dark spot here. But yeah, done deal. If you have any other questions, do shout out, and I'll see if I can answer those questions for you. But that is a quick and easy way of getting designs on your enamel. So I used today marigold. Yep, marigold with the yellow seed beads. If you ordered a kit, you got yellow in your kit there. And then on this one, I used ivory. So with the clear purple seed beads. So you can also see the difference in contrast with the clear ones versus the opaque ones. I think the opaque ones do a really nice job of contrast. You see, it's just really nice and bright. It's a great color. I don't know. Anyway, I'm in love with this one though. I think this one's a lot of fun. So there you go. Okay. Can you re-enamel the black spot is a question. The answer is yes. Okay, actually, that's a really good question. Let's do it. Okay, have a little bit of time because I try to keep these things to 45 minutes to an hour. We have a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and re-enamel that. That's a really good question, Gail. Thanks. So how am I going to do that? Aha, I'm going to take out my brush because the thing is, I don't want to sift this entire surface, because if I sift this entire surface, my enamel is going to get on the yellow pieces, right? The yellow seed beads, and it'll turn my seed beads orange. I want to keep that contrast. So I'm just going to wet in clean water. I'm going to wet my brush just a little bit. I'm going to take some of that off because it's a little too much. And I don't know why, but I have this habit of when I do this, this is called wet packing. I always brush my brush on my hand. It gives me an indicator of how much water is in there, because I don't want too much in there, right? Because then I just get a glob. Okay, so really tight in there so you can see what I'm doing. So this is it's wet, but it's not drenched in water. And look, I can pick up just a little bit. And I'm going to put this on here. And I've been told I make this look a lot easier than it is. But notice how I'm churning. See, I'm churning my, you can't see that. I was going to say I'm churning my brush, but you see, I'm turning my brush to sort of like wipe it down. So there's my dot, okay? Just because I can, I'm going to do one more because I feel like there's a little dot right there, right? I wet my brush. I don't want it to be puddling. You see? If you ever get your nails done, it's sort of the same thing, what I'm doing. I don't want any smart comments about that. Okay. And I'm just going to move it around to where I want it to be. Now you really do want to allow this to dry. I have another dot over here. So I'm getting a little anal retentive right now. Sorry. You do want to allow this to dry before you fire it, because again, with the liquid in there, it's going to start popping. But you know how this is going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and fire it anyway. Okay. Wow. Nope. All right. Let's fire it so I can show you what happens. Same thing. We're just going to heat it until it comes to the glossy state. Now everything else is glossy right now except the spots where I just put enamel. So I'm going to keep going until those spots are absolutely fused in like the others. Second round always takes a little bit longer, but you can see where that has gone to. See, there it is. So the question is, do you use clear fire for wet packing? You can. I prefer to use water. Okay, so we're a little stuck here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you what I did right and what I did wrong. So if you recall, I did the side. It looks great, right? It's a slight bump because I went a little heavy, but then you look on this side where that real dark hole is. Actually, on camera, it looks really great. But there's a lump there because I didn't smooth out my enamel. I sort of just put a lump there. So I wonder if I can go in a little bit tighter so you can see that lump. Yeah, you can, because you can see the reflection of it. You see? It's a little hot, that's why I'm not touching it. You see that tiny little bit of a lump there? Yeah. That's because I put a dab down, and I should have patted it down a little bit to smooth it out just a little bit, but that's okay. No one's ever going to notice that, which is sort of cool, but no one's ever going to see these pieces after this anyway. Okay, so hopefully I've answered all of your questions. Thanks for challenging me and asking questions too. I love that, and then I can keep sharing because I don't think of everything. Anyway, so don't forget the disc cutter is on special. If you are in the market for a disc cutter, it's a great time to get one because that is not going to last forever. And the anniversary pendant is coming up, so you can still definitely order that. Oh, and I was also told over the weekend, for those of you who are looking for the cerulean eclipse ring, that there was a little problem with the website over the weekend, but it's been fixed. So if you tried to register for that class and couldn't, you still can. Okay, so I have totally fixed that, along with something. There was something else that was down too. So anyway, well, thanks everyone for hanging out. Lumps are artistic. I see that. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. Thanks for liking our video and sharing our video. It keeps us going. And if you find any value in what you're seeing, do consider contributing by buying a download or even just contributing. But it would make me feel better if you buy a download for $5, and that's how we keep going. So thanks again. On Wednesday, we are doing the step-by-step surprise radiant project. Yay, I'm excited for that project. It's going to be it'll be great. You guys are going to be a little bit shocked that it's going to be professional. It is what it is. And then on Friday, we are doing part 2 of the Secret Garden bracelet for everybody who has registered for that. And then on Monday, we're back here and we are doing, oh, yes, I forgot. We're doing the baubles. Baubles. This on Monday. So if you are joining in, do make sure that you have something metal to work in. We have do we have these, honey? Bead scoops? I can't remember. So we have a couple of bead scoops available if you need it to make these, and you do need to have a steel awl. So You need some steel awls to do this process on Monday for the baubles. We do have the beads online if you need extra beads. Okay, these are steel steel beads, a little bit low grade iron. Anyway, okay, there it is. I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great rest of the week. Hopefully you guys won't get too much snow out there on the East Coast, but hang in there. Spring is definitely coming, and we're excited for that.